Jamie Hughes' life in fishing. So, where did it all begin?
Similar to everyone else, I suppose. Yeah, it was going to ponds with my granddad. That's what got me into it. I think I went first when I was about 5. My granddad was actually, he was a bailiff, or sort of a bailiff, more of a gardener. There's like a little private club next to a railway, not too far from mine, and he had to be there every Thursday. So that was his day to bailiff sort of thing or whatever. But yeah, he got me into it. He went to just local ponds pretty much. I did that for quite a bit. Probably local ponds, they were strange ponds though. In fact, they weren't strange. They were typical ponds of like crucian and rudd and
like proper old school fishing.
Yeah, proper John Wilson stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was. You watch John Wilson, then you go and pretend that you are him, don't you?
Yeah.
The next day. But that sort of style of fishing. Do you know what I mean? And then I probably started getting into matches when I was about 14. I think I remember fishing some junior matches when I was 14. But my first match I got beat and there was only 2 of us.
Honestly, you were top 2 at
last.
Yeah, finished, no, not last, second, wasn't it?
Second.
Yeah, finished second. But anyway, I started then with the club. And then, what happened after that? Probably when I was about 16, I reckon I went to Steve Openshaw's place for the first time then. And that's the first ever.
He took you under his wing?
No, not so much the opposite, but weirdly, when we first used to go to Steve's place, I reckon, no, in fact, no, I must have been a bit older. I must have been about 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was fishing
So
for clubs then. This is Lingmere when I was probably 18. That's the first time I started fishing sort of open matches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just started then. Steve's was just starting. I think he just bought. It was the first batch of F1s. Like literally the first batch of F1s to be created. I think Stay had some, and Tunnel Barn had some, and the Oaks, and a few others.
Yeah.
Because they had some little weird linear ones that I won't bore you about. But anyway, there's like one little weird strain. But anyway, right. So yeah, started at Lingmere. Did a little bit there, and then Burtonmere. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
Burtonmere, I've heard of it. It's a little one that clubs used to book out a lot in that sort of area.
It was quite a big one. Quite a big open, massive big lake. They've sold it now. It's actually at RSPB now. But they were my 2 venues. They were my 2 commercials, and they were.
And was it always commercials from day one?
Just to start with, it was when I jumped into matches a little bit. I dabbled with commercials.
Yeah. On
a very loose scale. Do you know what I mean? We went there and caught a few fish.
Yeah.
My first step into like proper fishing was actually with. I fished with 3 clubs. I fished with Williston. I fished with Wendy Locker's tackle shop for Chester Tackle, and another shop that was called Census Rod and Reel. The team was Census Rod and Reel, which was another team that were quite local to me. And I did a lot of fishing on canals with them for probably about 4 or 5 years. And that was the Shroppy, the T&M, a little bit of the Weaver, and Leeds Liverpool a lot as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so I grew up doing that. That's what really got me going more than anything was squat fishing. I used to love squat fishing. I did a lot of that, and I like the busy. Definitely in my early days, Mark Pollard was like a bit of a hero because he's a kiddie and he had squat fishing. Yeah. Polly was the man.
Yeah.
So that was like what I wanted to emulate for quite a while. I'd say these commercials started popping up, and I got a little bit more involved with that sort of thing, with say Burtonmere and Lingmere a little bit, and then eventually I might have came here. No, I didn't. No, I went to Brookside. I settled on Brookside for a little bit for a few years. Me and my travelling partner at the time was a bloke called Carl Fletcher, he's had about 27 kids now. I don't see Carl as much these days, but yeah, he settled down, had a bit of a family. But yeah, we went to Brookside for a long time, and that's where I learnt. It's where I learnt how to fish pellets, how I learnt to catch F1s. That was definitely the first venue of any reputation, if you like, that I settled on.
Yeah.
And learnt a bit of it. I suppose it all really went from there. That's when things went crazy.
Crazy, yeah. And you mentioned the crazy. Obviously, now more than ever, you're doing more fishing, but you've not always been a full-time angler, obviously. What did you do before, and what made you take the plunge?
I've done a few things. Well, when I left school, I left school at 16, I actually got an apprenticeship at Camillaids as a fabricator welder.
Right.
And I did 3 years, and I just sort of came out my time, and Laids went bust. So they got rid of us all. And then straight after that, I got offered a job as a scaffolder. And I was a scaffolder 10 years after that. I mean, I did that properly. That was my job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I went fishing at the weekend, and I worked away for a long time. I worked in London and Plymouth and Weymouth for probably about 5 years. So I was doing that. That was scaffolding and me fishing. Yeah. It didn't go on hold, sort of, but I probably went once every 2 weeks, things like that, when I got to come home. And again, that was the canal days. When I was working away, it was in the days when I was travelling up and down mainly the Shropshire Union, if I'm honest. That's where we mostly used to go. Fishing matches on there. And then, So I did that for 10 years, and then 8 years ago, I'm going to say 8 years. Yeah, 8 years ago. So sponsorship got a lot better. So I was very lucky that, again, while I was scaffolding, once I came home, that's when we focused on my fishing properly, and I started to fish some big events. So the Kamasan was the main one.
Yeah.
That was the first major event that I thought, that's me. I'm going to set my sights on that.
That's the Matchman of the Year, was it?
Yeah. Kamasan Matchman of the Year. That's Andy's thing.
All he'd won for.
Andy's claim for a while, what we fixed that.
Because you won that in 2010.
I think so, yeah. I'm useless with dates, Jake.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 2009 and 2010. Don't know.
I think it was
Somewhere in that period.
I think I've
to
seen a
one.
picture somewhere.
Yeah, when I was all skinny. And in fact, it was right over there. It was right here where we are now. That was a brilliant day, that. That's a bit random. The day that I got the Kamasan trophy, it was the last day of the season, and it actually coincided with the Angling Times semi-final. And on the same day, I managed to get the Kamasan trophy, and I won the match on the same day.
Oh, brilliant.
That was a proper day.
Great day.
Yeah, I was half drunk all day because they give you a bottle of champagne at the start. So they have you open it, and then you're stuck with this bottle of champagne. So
Not wasting it, we're having it.
Yeah, it went. But yeah, that was... I lost track a bit there. So we fished the Kamasan was the next thing I sort of focused on. And then, yeah, that's when sponsorship started to happen. When I won the Kamasan, Phil from Maver gave me my first ever deal. Yeah. Which was a decent deal. I mean, I jumped in for someone with the first ever deal. It was a good one. Do you know what I mean? Top of me, I think I got 2 or 3 grand, and my kit. I mean, it was a mega deal to get straight away, and that's what made me think, right, this can.
And was that through qualifying for like his events, or was that just through potentially him seeing you through other events that you'd been doing?
Was a bit of everything. It was because I just won the Kamasan.
Yeah.
He sort of. I must have seen him because I was going down Larford quite a bit. In fact, it was a bit of team affiliation as well, because at that time I was fishing for Maver Midlands. I'd moved over to them. And I think he'd half mentioned something at Larford that if I managed to win that, he'd look after me. So that was a bit more of an incentive to try even harder to win the Kamasan. I'd say, luckily I did that, and I've got a lot to owe Phil for. He definitely started the journey off more than anything. So after that, I was with Maver for about 6 or 7 years. Yeah, I'm going to say 6 years with Maver, maybe 7 years. And then I went to MAP. I mean, and that was a better deal again. I mean, that gave me a deal that I thought, right, I can do this, I can make a few quid, and if I can subsidise that with some coaching as well, because coaching was only just really, it wasn't a done thing then, not many people were doing it. Andy was doing it.
Yeah.
Neil Machin, I think Neil was the first one to do it. He dabbled with it, but it hadn't, maybe it wasn't sort of an accepted thing, so it hadn't really kicked off. So that fizzled away, Neil went and did something else, but Andy stayed on doing it and made it work. I thought, right, I'm going to have a bit of this. So 8 years ago, I took the plunge and decided, right, I'm an angling coach now. And so it's been better and better every year since.
Yeah, and as far as that goes, your record, and as an angling coach, for somebody to look up to and learn from, in terms of what you've achieved in fishing, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I'll read out a few of these things. 2013, 15, 17, Fishermania champion. 7 times Maver Match This finalist.
Yep.
Preston Innovations Matchman of the Year 2016. Individual County Champion Match Winner 2011. 4th overall UK Champs 2014.
You look like you forgot about something.
I don't remember most of these.
Festival wins at Herringbrook, Goodmore, Western Pools, pretty standard. Probably some more as well. Tunnel Barn, we know that. 9 times Fishermania finalist.
Yeah.
2010 Amazon Matchman of the Year.
So that was off my website, that 2000. It must be right then.
Yeah. 2014 BW Angling Trust Champion.
Yeah.
3 times runner-up in the Camazan Angler of the Year. Lots of hundreds of open match wins.
I don't know. I've thought about that a few times. How many matches have you actually won? And it can't be hundreds, can it?
What are you going to fish in a year, realistically?
Well, how many was
100
it?
matches in a year?
How many was it Andy Bennett claimed to have won in that 1 year?
But wasn't he fishing like 3 a day or something?
Yeah, that's like 5 a week, wasn't it? That's far off. When he went full out all out. I've never gone, unless it's an event. I mean, at a festival or something, I don't think I've ever been more than 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't do it. But no, I don't know.
Because what
200 or 300 maybe.
Where do you like class opens as now in your fishing? Is that purely as just to keep you kind of up to speed, keep you in kind of match mode almost, or do you just, when there's nothing else on, you want to be fishing matches anyway?
I don't know. I've got a very different mentality now with my fishing.
Yeah.
In that I can't. I don't. No, I won't say enjoy is the right word.
Don't excite you
Yeah,
to,
exactly
to the
that.
same level, sort of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if I can't put the effort in that I put in to the big matches, it's almost not worthwhile. Which is strange. It's. I don't want to sound like a bit of a dick by saying that, but it's. I don't get the buzz anymore off an open match, and it's weird. I've spoke about this with a few people. Being in the position I'm in, there's more pressure when you're fishing an open match against. I won't say lesser angler.
The standard field.
Yeah, that standard sort of field than it is a big match. Because a big match, everyone's the same.
Yeah.
An open match, you're the target for everyone.
I was saying this to you when I was like, I'd love to draw next year because I've got like, if you beat me, it's like, well,
It's expected, isn't it?
If I beat you, you are in a world of pain.
Yeah, but because you
That's the end, isn't it?
you're the Man City of the Premier League in that Man City go to every other club. I'm a Manchester United fan, so I'll say Manchester United in that Manchester United go to other clubs. They're a massive club, and teams want to beat them. And if United are always on a bit of a loser because if they win,
you're
well,
put on a
it's Manchester
pedestal all
United,
the
they
time,
should
aren't
win. And if they lose, then
if it's like 20 matches they win, if there's a one they lose against a random team, that's the one everyone's going to take notice of. No one's going to care about the 20 other ones.
yeah,
No,
everybody
exactly
wants
that.
to beat them. And
It is. You're always the target, and they let you know about it as well. I mean, on many occasions, they let you know about it.
Do you find it kind of works to your advantage or disadvantage? Do you get as many that kind of, oh shit, I've drawn next to Jamie Hughes. That
But I wouldn't know that.
Away.
You know what I mean? They're the nice people that are just quiet and get the job done. You don't mind them. But no, it's the cocky ones that.
yeah.
You haven't caught off that peck.
Yeah, they get an early head start on you, and then they're like, "Wait, Jamie," like shouting down to you, trying to wind
That
you
just
up.
makes you try
And
harder.
you're just like, "Oh, great, that's it."
Yeah, then they're getting it halfway through. If they give it you, I've been guilty of that myself.
Yeah,
You keep your gob shut till the end, don't you?
Yeah.
You can give people a little bit of stick.
definitely. And there must have been times throughout your angling career where you've had some really bad runs of draws, where. Or even performances.
You don't know me, Jake, very well, do you?
Has there ever been a point at all where you've thought about binning it off?
No, never. I can honestly say, never, ever, ever. I've been fortunate. It's not even about bad runs or draws. It's the bad draws are going to happen during sort of winter and nasty time, aren't they? That's when you can get disheartened. Because in the summer, there's that many matches that you forget about your bad draw.
Yeah.
The next day, 'cause you're fishing again. I try and keep my fishing in the winter very varied, so that sort of doesn't happen. You know, I'll go and do some silverfish fishing.
Yeah.
I'll go lots and lots of random places. So draws, they don't become irrelevant, but so it doesn't mean as much. I mean, you just want to catch fish in the winter, don't you? And a bit less pressure, just a bit easy fishing. But no, I've never ever felt that I've had enough of this. I can't do it. The one thing that does affect me is the travelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I've been unlucky to take a long time, or if I haven't qualified in for whatever events, and I'm still travelling. What we're now end of August.
Yeah.
I mean, by now some of the lads that haven't had that little bit of luck in the drawback, they've racked up who knows how many miles now.
Yeah, and I know
Ridiculous,
Mikey Williams.
Yeah,
we actually
mega
forgot
example.
to mention Mikey qualifying, which,
Yeah,
which he
you've
was
upset him.
so upset about because Mikey's one that's always on to us, and the travelling that he does,
Yeah.
and he really wants to qualify. He puts in loads of effort. Where he lives, he's
Yes, he's in
hundreds
Powers
and
gang,
hundreds
isn't he?
of-
He's in a
he's
pain
even
in the
further.
arse
'Cause he's
place.
in like South of Wales sort of thing.
Is
and
he?
He has to pay money to go over a bridge and stuff.
Yeah.
to
Does
get
he?
out.
You've got to let him into England.
Yeah. So he does silly amounts of miles, and he gets disheartened, and he's actually qualified for one of the finals.
Yeah, well
Well,
deserved.
I think last couple of years has been in that. Or was it last year or the year before?
He's definitely in Golden Reel last
yeah.
year. I think he was in maybe a year before that.
Yeah, so it's like he plugs away and
He puts the effort in. That's
But
what you got
this
to
year
do.
it's taken him a while, but he's managed to do it. But
you start doubting everything, don't you? You get to a point where you're just questioning whether it's worthwhile doing,
Yeah.
whether it's something you're doing all the time, and it's just like,
It's them three things, isn't it? It's the cost, the amount of effort, and is it me? And I'm just not quite good enough. But you've got to forget about that one. That one's,
yeah.
if that gets in your head, you shouldn't be doing it. Yeah.
Right, I'll stop.
Yeah. Well, you've played golf now anyway, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Golf's next, isn't it?
No, drawing next to like Paul Holland and stuff like getting bashed up, that's like, oh, don't like that.
Don't like that. Go and fix it.
Can I have a lesson, please?
Yes. You've had hundreds and hundreds. The free ones as well, I might add.
That's called work.
work. So you're an angler that's known to look into the finest details of what you do. You perfect every aspect of your approach. Does it ever annoy you when people suggest that you just fish pellets, or you just fish for F1s, or sort of put you in a category of just this?
Yeah, definitely.
When you
Only
know
catches
what you do?
F1s.
Only
Definitely.
catches
I'll
F1s.
be the first to admit I'm a commercial angler. Do you know what I mean? But I can do anything. I'm quite capable of doing whatever I need to do. But that's what I've focused on. It's what I've spent, 20 years of my life. I mean, completely focusing on how to catch F1s and carps. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't do a lot of F1 fishing. Contrary to belief, I tend to not fish for F1s all through the summer now. I mean, now I fish for F1s from October onwards because they're the events that we do.
Yeah.
And then March time, I mean, once carp start feeding, I'd rather go and catch carp any day.
Yeah.
Was that a bit of a decision in your own fishing with the finals kind of moving across to hayfield?
More
and stuff
so,
like
yeah.
that
That's influenced
it becomes
a greater level. I always used to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I always used to like going. I'd pick carpy venues. I mean, we travel to Laugh or whatever. But since it moved to, like you say, we've spoke about it lots, haven't we?
Yeah.
Since it moved to Hayfield and Larford, which are big carp dominated type venues, the way you fish has to change. I mean, completely has to change. That busy F1. Jimmy Bollard mentioned it. They call it busy fishing.
Busy, yeah.
But it's dead right that a lot of northwest venues, here in particular where we are now, Edinburgh, they're busy, lots of bites, and you can't have that mentality in them. Do you know what I mean? I've just been Hayfield Sunday and had 20 bites.
Yeah.
I mean, for 130
Yeah, and if you're just constantly thinking, right, I'm on this line, not got a bite, throw it up the bank.
you waste all your day and catch nothing.
Yeah.
I've been massively guilty of it so many times. It's so much closer to specimen carp fishing than it is match fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it's a complete, unique, different type of fishing now that you've got to do at them two venues, which is what I've been obsessed with. Like you say, it's for me, it's all about picking the methods that I need to be proficient at and going next level on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a different obsession every year. This year, it's been waggler fishing. It's fried my brain because of that horrible Andrew Power play. It keeps ruining me with a waggler. But yeah, it's having lessons like that, being beat in that way in these sorts of matches.
But then that makes you think, I need to learn how
Everything
to do
has
that.
been about working out, so I can do that. Not as good as him, but I can be the next best in the country.
Yeah.
That's how you've got to be.
Yeah, it's when you kind of see it from like going out on features with you, like for like weeks on end, all you're talking about is like how to attach a waggler. I'm like, why does it even matter? And then it's like you come to it and it's like you get to a point, right, got it, and then you suddenly like change.
A month later, it's something else, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's like when you get 100% confident in something, that's like when it's scary.
moment,
like,
yeah. Oh no, don't mess with me.
That's how it's got to be taken with every little aspect of your fishing. At the level we're at now, everything's got to be borderline as good as it can be. Everything from how your pellet's banded on a thing to everything's got to be perfect, hasn't it? If you want to be top of the pile now.
Yeah.
Do you find that's getting harder now, obviously, with more and more people doing features and videos and stuff like that? It's almost harder to keep stuff to yourself.
It's not so much stuff. It's I don't know. It's a way of thinking almost. It's
Attention to detail.
it's going next level. It's like things that I've read about Will. Will's always on about taking things to the next level with little things. Until you've actually seen anglers such as Will, such as Bennett, such as Power, hopefully such as myself, that they can show you how to take things to that next level, and it's hard to almost show. Do you know what I mean? You need to be around them a lot to get their frame of mind, how they think during a match. It's so hard to emulate yourself just through YouTube or something.
Yeah, even filming like the live matches and stuff we've done, I'll sit there and to look at it, it's not like, oh, it's doing loads different, you're suddenly like a miles behind. You're almost like, he's not doing
you
an
think,
all
I can
like
do that, don't you?
until you actually sit and go through. Oh, I've just tweaked this. Got it. I think it's just got to be loads of little tiny differences that
that makes
add
a
up
difference.
to something at the end of it.
Yeah, of course it is. It is. It's hard to tell people anything you're doing as well. You do so many things automatically without thinking about it that you just assume that everyone does that.
Yeah, you've just skipped past. Like if somebody asked you, you sort of skip past it, not even realising you've done something, and really, like it's actually making a massive difference, but you've not.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it. But that's where like that natural ability, watercraft, all comes into it because it just
decision
happens.
making, isn't it? That seems to have gone the next level recently. Is decision making.
Yeah, but I think everyone's kind of, they'll ask you, they almost want a decisive answer that it's going to be one thing that you're suddenly going to change, that is going to make you go from like coming nowhere to suddenly like framing in every match.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't exist, does it? It's like the
No.
mythical bait doesn't exist.
no, it's not like one thing's going to change it all. It's
Yeah,
a
I've
little,
had exactly that conversation today with the lad who I've had today.
Yeah.
It's about working out, the whole of fishing summed up is working out how they want to bait on a particular day. That's what it comes down to, but there's infinite amount of answers to that.
Yeah.
You just need to have been in so many positions before that you've almost seen that situation. You think, well, this happens when it's like this, and you're close.
How much of it, obviously going kind of off on a tangent on that baity thing, so many times you've just been like, just fish pellets.
Yes.
Is there a point where it's almost you think you're better off fishing something you're confident in rather than kind of following the trends where it's like, oh yeah, you need to be fishing maggots at the moment, you need to be fishing ground bait down the...
It depends. No, a bit venues change.
Yeah.
I mean, the venues we fish, they're 90% pellets. I mean, there's not many that I fish anywhere that I can't rock up with.
Is
just
adding
pellets,
other baits just complicating? Is
No,
that another
'cause-
factor that, for example, you say there that it's how the fish want it and where they want it?
Yeah.
If you are
Solid
fishing
that.
loads of different baits, if you're just fishing pellets, you can probably work out where and how they want it quicker than if you.
As
had
long as
multiple
pellets are the right bait in the way that they behave for how the fish want to feed on the day. Yeah, the only time,
Yeah.
like shallows, a key example, isn't
Yeah,
it? Here, again, I keep bringing this up, but it can be a caster day shallow, or it can be a maggot, or it can be a pellet day shallow. You need the right bait to, when you throw it into your peg, it needs to behave in the correct way for how the fish want on that day. Yeah, it's no good fishing a heavy sinking bait that sinks very accurately if the fish want to feed through the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and vice versa as well. You don't want to feed something light if everything wants to be on the bottom nice and tight. It's picking the right bait for the situation, or not situation. What's the word? Condition sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, you're in a unique position. You've won multiple Fishermania finals. Talk us through how it feels in that last hour when you're in with a chance. There's a good chance that you can win that match.
Yeah.
What goes through your
I've
brain?
been in like 3 different scenarios with that now.
Oh,
in the-
sorry.
So be nice. Come on, mate. I'm being good. No, first one was. It's a bit hard to remember now. I'm getting a bit old. But the first one was. It was easy. I mean, every fish in the lake was in my peg, and without being cocky, I'd won it. Well, now it's got one. I weren't getting beaten now, so that was nice relief, and just I got very adrenaline. All the adrenaline was in my arms. I couldn't actually bait up last hour on that one because I was quite young. I can't even remember whatever I was in 2013. But yeah, I was still 20 odd.
Yeah.
And it was massive. Do you know what I mean? That was very, very nervous. I felt very humble that year. It was just meant to be. Everything went right.
Yeah.
The second year, what was the second one? Then when Connor was second.
Yeah, but even that year, I seem to remember you were quite confident. I remember you ran up the top, went to the toilet.
I needed a wee. It wasn't confident. I needed a wee.
You were skipping, running along, like
I've won this.
sat in with the crowd, selfie.
No, I had to go for a wee. You got to go for a wee, haven't you?
And they thought they'd just leave the camera on you the entire
It was,
time
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Let's just watch this empty peg while he's in the bush up there. Yeah, that was a bit different. That was a little bit more pressure, but still a bit easier again because the lack of big fish in the lake that year. Weights, I haven't got a clue what weights we had. I think about 4 kilo head of Connor, 3 or 4 kilo.
Yeah, so
maybe.
it wasn't massive, was it?
But it was because
Was it
there was
enough?
nothing in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
There was nothing of any
that you
size.
there was nothing that could jump you up. Like
No.
a lot of them at the moment, you're one way in and everyone's jumped up.
Oh,
If you got a
it's-
bit of a lead, it was quite hard to claw it back from what I
Yeah.
can remember.
What was
that
it, all
year.
little F1s or carp?
It was like little pasty things, yeah, little cow, little tench. There was a couple of big ones. I got lucky when I had a wee. I caught one, 2 kilo, big 4-pounder. Well, that was big for there. I went for a wee and I come back and I caught another one next chuck. That's what won me fish up. Definitely those 2 fish, but there weren't many of them. So with half an hour to go, I didn't know, but again, it was fairly comfortable position to be in. The worst one, definitely, in fact, no, the last 2 that I fished have been different because the last one that I won, Andy Power had just put, with 30 minutes to go, no, with an hour to go, in that, what we call it, ninth weigh in? Yeah, ninth weigh in, 10th at the end.
Yeah.
He put 12 kilo on the scales.
Oh, he had a ridiculous spell, didn't
Like,
he? Like
silly,
mugging-
didn't he?
mugging
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, a bit of everything, cast to shallow. And that's the most pressure I've ever been in. I literally spent the last half hour watching Andy. And I
Because
thought,
you know Power can put another.
he don't mess about,
And,
mate,
yeah.
does he? If he's on fish, he can make a mess when they arrive. And 12 kilos, nothing. Because these are, what am I going to say, £5?
Yeah,
Oh,
4 or
you
5.
you were busy over
I caught
that.
one.
You were busy texting me over the other side.
4 now.
Yeah, they were 4 or 5 pounds, so it didn't take many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
4 proper ones, and he'd have had me, and mine had. Oh, I didn't catch anything. I caught 2 F1s last half hour, but that I was terrified. I thought he was going to have me that year. Luckily, he has fizzled out. He just had one spell
Yeah.
where he clattered them.
Yeah, I seem to remember he didn't have a lot in the last hour,
No.
and everyone thought he was going to. I think he had a 3 kilo or something like that.
Yeah,
in
they
the
had that
last
scale
round.
malfunction or something, didn't
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
for a second. That's the most pressure I've ever been in. But then, flip side, completely different as well. This year was a completely different emotion altogether because I think I was winning with an hour to go. I think I was leading with after the 8th weigh-in, and I thought this is gonna continue. I'm just gonna plod on, catch 50 kilos. Do you know what I mean? I thought, and it went the complete opposite way, and I've had to see myself go down and Bagan and Simon sneak up and take it from me this year. But I thought we can have it this year at one point. It's the first time I've
And
been.
It was a
gutted.
funny one. This year was completely different for myself because in the past I've always gone to the Fishermania finals, sat behind you at a lot of them, and the 2013, 2015, I believe 2017, I was actually behind you.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
As a fan back in the day,
Oh.
2013, 15. This year it was different because myself and Rich, we were sort of with you the whole weekend in a way. We
Yeah.
were there at the draw. When you'd drawn and you were looking at your peg, we went with you and we
Yeah, bit of
we
a walk,
knew
didn't
what
we?
yeah, and we sort of saw what you were thinking, and we were saying to you, we knew you were confident. We actually, even though it wasn't the area that you necessarily wanted to be in,
Yeah.
we got the sense that
Rich
Jamie
is well
was,
accustomed to the emotional roller coaster,
yeah,
aren't you, Rich?
well,
Yeah.
there was 1 or 2 things, and you weren't upset with what it was. I
Yeah.
got the impression that you actually really fancied it.
Is that a bit more of a kind of chilled out mentality now that, yeah, it wasn't a fly, that you were like, it wasn't what you'd have picked before, but it's almost like accept it,
Yeah,
move on and get
definitely.
the most out of it that you can do?
Yeah, sort of just. I didn't know what to. The night before, I fancied it, but at the same time, I thought this could easily be rancid. And I actually slept. That's the first time I've ever slept. Never have slept for a final before in my life. I slept and I woke up, and in the morning, while me and George were setting up, there was like some fish about, and they were bubbling, and we said to each other, we've got a chance here. Do you know what I mean? Because they didn't have me crazy mate on 34 that he normally does. Andy normally does his coaching, doesn't he,
Yeah.
or his the
Demonstrations.
demonstrating, doesn't it? Demonstrating of casting or whatever he does. 'Cause
Yeah.
he doesn't catch anything, does he? But they normally have that there, which is, it's a present, isn't it, on the bank?
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that, all of a sudden it was, well, that's a lot of water. That's a massive amount of water with no one in
Yeah.
on a massively
Obviously, you
pressured
have
lake.
that massive triangle rope
Yeah,
top
with that
area.
rope cuts you off.
Yeah.
Well, they actually had a look. Have you seen it on? If you watch it back, they zoom up there when we're catching early on in the match. The amount of fish there is ridiculous.
Is it?
There's
I've not-
thousands.
Well, there was a point, wasn't there, where you're kind of casting and like foul looking a few because it was just
Yeah,
so
you could
many
tell
fish
that there
there
were
going
loads of
over the
fish there,
back.
couldn't
And
It made us look useless for a while, but they've definitely whizzed up the other end of the lake, moved to the island, or I'd imagine they have. It felt like that's what happened.
Yeah, they seemed to just drift up, didn't they? People
It
started
seems-
getting
There's
indications.
still fish
and-
there though,
Yeah.
but it'll just be numbers, just lack of competition, isn't it? And so it didn't go our way. It fizzled out. So I think Jordan went an hour without a bite.
Yeah, Jordan's went before yours did though,
Yeah.
didn't they? You seem to both sort of be like, you'd catch one, Jordan would catch one, and then it just sort of seemed to Jordan stopped.
Yeah.
You carried on
Just
for a bit.
fizzled off.
You stopped, and they just seemed to.
Yeah, sneaked their way up. They must still be there, mustn't they? There must still be millions there.
They're
Oh,
just
it's
not
such
the
a big
numbers that
lake.
need to compete. It's
Maybe, yeah.
just
Yeah. And those pegs that I left, a few decided to feed, and Bennett again did what he did. So we just sell it. We just every match in it. It's who's won Bennett, but every flipping match. But no, yeah, he didn't mess about. It was
Yeah.
about time as well.
He was
mate.
due one, wasn't
He was definitely due a bigger money.
it's
Yes.
been in enough. hasn't
He's
it?
going to win all 3 this year. I know he is as well.
Do you reckon?
Definitely.
Is that-
He's just not going to mess about. He's going to take it out.
Is that who your money's on?
No, I'm winning.
yeah.
I'm winning,
Jamie's
Rich.
And you've mentioned Andy May there. Obviously, he wasn't demonstrating at this year's Fish Show final because he was in it.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people associate you and Andy together. You're obviously very good mates.
Yeah.
Your time with Map, now with Winning Ways. As much as you're mates, is there a good rivalry as well in terms of, are you competitive between each other as well?
A little bit, yeah. But to be fair, other than the daft challenges that this one comes up with, we very, very rarely fish against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I can count on my hand how many times I've fished against Andy in the last couple of years.
Never draw next to him in
Well, he just mucks
qualifiers
about,
or
doesn't it?
anything.
And he takes months to qualify, and I'm done by April. No, it's just weird. It's just for whatever reason, other than a couple of matches at parties, which you don't fish against each other very often. But yeah, there's a massive amount of competition when we're together doing whatever we're doing for winning ways.
We'll
and
do
things
some
like that.
stupid ones this winter.
Yeah.
When we've got
I want a
nothing
fly
better to
fishing
do.
one.
On the Trout Lake, Cudmore.
Anywhere, we just want fly fishing one. I'm gonna have to have safety goggles around.
But you said you did. You had done a bit of that. Reveal all.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. That's secret.
You go, just really good at fly casting all of a sudden.
Yeah, people don't realise that, like, the Ringer, Steve Ringer, was a fly.
He was
angler,
very
wasn't
good at it,
and
wasn't
he was
he?
in the England team. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in the
Well,
English
like the
fly fishing team.
reservoir-y sort of. No, you don't know.
I'm
do
not
you?
100% sure. I just know. Don't know. I just know that he was very, very good at it. and
Yeah, I
he
remember that in the
came
early
from that.
days he did that, didn't he? Quite.
Yeah.
Was that alongside the match fishing? Or
Yeah.
Did it, yeah.
It was
Did-
when he
did a
was
bit of
commercial
both.
king, wasn't it?
Oh, so just thought I'd do a bit.
I'll complete that one, complete this one, and now I'm
Yeah.
going to be the best feed wrangler in the world because I feel like it.
Yeah.
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 Done that. Completed it,
Completed
mate.
that.
It's like sea fishing or something next.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So, moving on to the coaching side of things. So obviously coaching
yeah.
is a massive part of what you do.
Yes.
You're not just going and fishing your own matches like a lot of people might believe.
No.
You're coaching through the week. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like you say, the most that you would ever do in a week's maybe 3 matches, but that's very, very rare, and probably back in the day these days anyway.
Yeah.
What are the most common mistakes that you actually see, or the most common questions that you get asked when coaching?
The most common subject is definitely feeding. That's people's biggest thing with fishing is when to feed. Yeah, it's what people struggle with the most. It's knowing when to feed, what to feed, why to feed. Yeah, that's the key thing. People, they don't read what's happening enough. Yeah, they don't have the correct rigs and they don't feed at the right time to see what response what they're doing is creating. That's without doubt, that's the biggest area that I have to fix. Because it's so easy, like really easy to, if you feed over your float and this happens, that they're doing this. And when to feed when nothing's happening to attract fish in, and when to not feed, all little things like that.
I suppose it's that real negative. Like, everyone says it's like negative, but it's just kind of letting stuff happen. But not like you're seeing so many matches where everyone like whistle goes. It's like, right, big pot out. That line's getting a pot. That line's getting a pot.
Yeah, individual mistake. That'll be it.
Yeah,
definitely big pot to start. That is the biggest mistake in match fishing.
You still see it, don't you?
Oh, horrendously. And feed 3 or 4 lines to start with, and that there is no bigger mistake than that as far as I'm concerned. Not on commercials anyway.
Yeah. No.
Maybe I don't even think it's anywhere, is it? It's.
I remember back in the day, Cheshire fisheries.
I used to. It's gone now, you know. It's a thing, you know.
It's not there
Syndicates,
anymore.
innit?
But that's what I used to do. Pool 5, it was my favourite. Little tiny
one's that
lake,
one?
little tiny circle. You walk up
That's
past
one of the
trap
lobsters
lake.
in, isn't it? That's full
It's
of
got
lobsters.
loads
that
of
one.
crayfish. But my thing on there, it was just like side tray. It had corn, meat, pellets, maggots, everything. And my starting 250ml pot, bit of meat, bit of corn, bit of pellets, bit of everything, hemp.
Yeah. Get
Pot
it
it in. But there was loads of skimmers in there, so it all got eaten.
Well, crayfish should be eaten off,
and a load of crayfish. Yeah,
millions of them.
That was it. Yeah, absolutely millions of crayfish.
it seems to be almost getting your head around the fact that there's going to be fish in front of you, so you're not feeding to almost attract them into your peg. Yeah, it's just
it's the old school mentality like bream and roach fishing, where you laid your carpet and they rocked up. That's what a lot of people come and think. They put the bait in, the fish come. That's a load of rubbish. Yeah, fish come because you've made a little bit of noise, or they come because they're already there, or it's time for them to feed. Yeah, edges are the key example. The amount we've done this year on edge, or last year on edge fishing, how it's changed now from that big pot in, get fish in, and you don't do that. You know what I mean? You go down the edge when there's one waving at you, or Fred on the next peg scored one, and then you catch him straight away.
with that sort of thing. Obviously, you've gone down the route of little tiny pots, minimal amount of feed down the edge now. Do you think it's almost the fact that they learn to associate something with danger? So in like a few years, we might be back to big pot in it because there's like any little tiny pile of bait they're suddenly scared of.
Maybe. I don't think it's so much years. I think from start of the season to the end of the season, they change.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larford's the example we use all the time, isn't it? In that, to begin with, you can catch on ground bait and maggots and things like that. Start of the year, you try to do that now, you ain't gonna get a bite. Or you are. You can have lots of foul lookers and things like that. But they learn how to feed in a certain manner on certain baits, don't they? To avoid getting caught. So it's me chod rigs and all that race that'll catch you.
Yeah, it's just weird, isn't it? How
Well, it's just the evolution of fishing, isn't it? We learn how to do things in different ways instead of just potting it like mad and chucking bait over the top and expecting it to work. It's not about getting loads of fish into your pegs. That's another thing with Bennett, talking about him as well. He's very good at, it's not making your peg solid and things like that. It's just going in and catching a fish.
Yeah.
You don't have the problems of, it looks good, loads of liners or whatever else. It's just that smooth in, catch a fish. And yet you're repeating that all the time rather than lose 2. You know what I mean? Catch 6 on the bounce,
Float
sit there for
all
10
over the
minutes.
place doing all
Yeah,
I
it's
think
controlled, isn't it?
everyone's done it where you get so drawn into it, don't you? As soon as you've had a bit of bait and there's fish down there, you want to come off it. You're like, oh, this isn't. I'm not putting anything in the net. But
Yeah.
you, like getting liners, odd fella. You're like, oh, it's got to start working soon.
Yeah.
But
If it's not working, it's because you've done something wrong
Yeah.
in the first place most of the time, isn't it?
Moving on from that, you're a father.
Yes.
Working working out a work-life fishing balance is something that a lot of anglers struggle with.
Yeah.
It is a massive commitment. It takes up loads of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you manage that and other sacrifices that you've had to make
Of
along
course
the way?
it is. Well, that's coming back to the open matches. That's why another big factor why I've culled a lot of my open match fishing, just because I'd rather spend time with that little crazy one at home.
She's 2.5 now.
Nearly 3 now in November. Yes, she's 3.
You've been swimming
Yeah,
this week.
I have been paddling this week. It's nuts, Jake. Honest, absolute raving lunatic shit. But yeah, I'd rather do that than fish matches that I don't need to be fishing. But no, I've always been good, because I don't coach. Yeah, I have every Monday off.
Yeah.
I have quite a few Tuesdays off, and I'd say it's not so much seasonal, but I have from coaching duties. I normally knock it on the head around the start of December and start again, depending on the weather, end of February, because in between then's a waste of time.
Well, this year in particular. Well, this year, last year was a joke.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
really, really bad. But it's people think that it doesn't matter. You can you can't. If you have really bad weather and it's freezing, you can't get a bite.
Yeah, and I know yourself and Andy, you both understand that if you're not getting bites, you're not teaching them anything,
Yeah.
and really, you're ripping someone off at the end of the day. If you're
Not far off, yeah.
a lot of people would happily pay you to do that because they would think, well, this is still showing me, but
Yeah, you
you
have to
see
do
it
it a
for a
different
little
way.
bit different, don't you? Because
Yeah. Well, I want to show people that a massive part of it is the response
yeah,
that you're getting, and if you can't show them any response, then what then? It's half your day that in most situations. But what we're on about, yeah. So with the little and don't do too much open matches. I have those months off. That's when I do a lot of matrix stuff. I mean, I have that to squeeze in as well.
Yeah.
So I have me 3 days coaching, normally Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I probably have a day either out with my crazy mate and Rich, or whoever. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff with matrix. I tend to go out with twice a month with matrix. Get some stuff done with them. So it's always busy.
yeah.
But always get time for my kids as well. Always
Brilliant.
time for the little one.
And speaking of her, is there any plans to get her coached up?
I don't know.
Send her in the fishing route and potential Fishermania champion in the future?
No idea.
get doing something that makes money. No?
Yeah,
It's not fishing.
No, naff that off. Go and do a proper sport that you can, so I can retire and sit in my deck chair.
Yeah.
No, not a clue. She'll do whatever she wants to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It'd be good though, wouldn't it, to get a proper tan in all the fellas? That'd be quite nice.
You took fishing, yeah, properly. Or?
No, that's too little. And she's only 2 and a bit.
little whip,
That's just
Top
death of top kids, isn't it?
pinging cat like maggots at you or something.
And then catapult. Oh no. Yeah, the dog would be getting it, but no. Who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever she wants to do, she can do.
So, what's plans this winter? Mate?
Ooh, I'm gonna go weird. I'm gonna do Tom's League. I'm gonna do them, just the 4 matches, the Catchmore Media League at Tunnel,
Yeah, four rounds.
because we like that one. What else did I say I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do some golden rod.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Larford ones, a Lindome one, and a decoy one. I think I've got tickets for. I'm gonna do some of them silverfish ones. I haven't bought any tickets yet, but I'm gonna do some of them. That Angling Trust,
I think
controversial F1 silverfish ones
Yeah.
that people need to stop whinging about because it's
I think-
winter and bites and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I think like especially Western and stuff like that is like bang on for you, isn't it?
Well, I'll just anyway, innit? I love going catching silvers.
Yeah.
I do a lot of silverfish fishing.
Well, you-
It's on the quiet in the winter.
Where was it you were going and you were like catching? You had a ridiculous day. You were catching like 4-inch long skip, like hooking.
Oh yeah, okay, Mike. Don't
Yeah.
tell him that, bitch.
I didn't have to pause on it.
on,
You said
Long
it.
Island at Hampton Springs, wasn't it?
It was what's the first one? Alice.
Alice.
Alice is the skimmer one now. It used to be
Yeah.
the roach one, Alice.
Yeah.
But they've all gone. You don't catch them anymore. But it's all little.
Meadows was good at one point.
Yeah,
on there
but he
as
put
well.
F1s in, didn't he? And it's sort of. I'm going to be completely go the opposite
Yeah.
way that I've just slagged off. But I don't like the F1s being involved.
Yeah.
But Meadow and Long are a lot of F1s. But yeah, it's good. Don't mean I enjoy that. Just getting bites in it. It's all you want to
Yeah.
do in the winter. When it gets to that rock bottom, and you're going to catch 20 pound of F1s, which is what 10 bites on it, maybe. Even I'm not into that.
No.
You want bites in the winter, you'll catch fish. That's what we do.
Yeah. Brilliant. And plans for the future, looking past this winter?
I don't know. No, still the same. I've just mentioned to you before, but before the winter, so just cut it in to October time. I'm going to have a little change once the finals are over.
Yeah.
Like Matty's taught me into going to Patzel, and I'm just going to go throw a method feeder or something.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to go Patzel, catch some trout.
Off the boats and everything.
Oh yeah. I get seasick though. Does that mean will I be all right?
You'll be all right.
Don't go on a windy day.
You just clamp them on. You just like G-clamp them onto the post.
That's what you do. And
But you get in and you're like,
What
it's
did
all
they
over
do?
the place.
Did they have a match
And
on
it
there
went-
last weekend when it was like the windiest weekend
Oh,
ever?
people
will-
would
they will
have
have
died on the boat.
yeah, it is. But that's what happens.
It's tips like this.
The amount of time my G-clamp like pinged off, and you're like, whoa.
Is it?
Or the speedboat comes past and your boat's all over the place.
What, during the match?
Yeah. Once they've dropped other people off at their peg.
Ah, right, it's
Yeah.
the droppy peg off.
Yeah. So
But no, we'll have a double of that. No, more the same next year.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Until I'm happy, depending on what happens this year, I want to win Maver and I win Golden Rail. Once they're both done, then who knows?
Excellent.
Just do a ringer and take up feeder fishing and something different.
That's something different. You can take me out carp fishing. You're
So-
going to go catch Mary. Is Mary still alive?
No,
Oh,
died
Mary
about
gone.
20 years
What
ago.
about Basil?
No,
Well,
you're on like 20 years ago. Yeah.
I just love Terry, you know that. He's my hero.
Terry Hearn.
I love Terry.
But it's really like, I don't know, it's hard to get your head back in. Having match fish for a bit now, getting back into that, I'm going to sit and wait 24 hours.
Yeah, I
and
might get a
one
bite tomorrow.
You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, you
Like-
say catching 20 carps, patient.
Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
rich, nothing.
I watched one
48
the other day
hours.
and the fella was all excited. They've only been here 5 hours. I was like, what?
Yeah, you fish the whole match and you've just like seen one stick its head out. Oh, I might sell it now.
Lovely. Well, we'll definitely good luck with the remaining finals this year.
Thank you. We'll see how it goes.